seek solitude and rest. Take the stress off my chest. Words are empty when majestic is everywhere.
So it's May 24th, and we're on the annual Mammoth trip. 395 is closed, and so there's a fire right at Mono Lake, and so we're having to bypass on 167, which I've never been to. And since I've never been on 167, I thought I would break out the camera and just record the journey, because it might be an interesting one. It's gonna take us 2.5 hours out of our way, essentially. I mean, from here, it's a 30-minute drive to Hot Creek Ranch, but Google is now saying it's gonna take us 3 hours to get there. So we've got to go around Mono Lake, and then we end up by the Owens somewhere. So it should be an interesting trek. So I've never been on this side of Mono Lake. Should be interesting. So I imagine this is going to take us out towards Nevada and maybe along the base of the White Mountains. The texture in pavement just changed, and it turns out that we've now crossed the Nevada line. Otherwise, other than the road surface changing, not much else has changed. We're coming up to some foothills, it looks like, but I think we're still 30 miles away from 95, which is where we're going to be headed south. So on 167 we came straight east, and then we're going to cut south, then we're going to cut back west again. So apparently I'm going to have to keep my eyes open, because there are free range cattle on this road. So hopefully we'll get through without any incidents. Vita and I left late last night, and we stayed the evening in my sister-in-law's cabin, and then we got up early today. I picked up some flip-up polarized lenses yesterday at Bass Pro Shop. I needed some tippet and some leader material, and Roger had told me that Bass Pro had started carrying fluorocarbon, so I went. I've been meaning to get a couple of these since last summer, since I had the issues falling last summer. I think a lot of that has to do with my depth perception, the fact that on a day-to-day basis, the glasses I'm wearing now, they're trifocals, but my prescription fishing glasses aren't. So I picked up some of these flip-ups so that I could sort of mitigate that problem. My fish sighting is not going to be as good in these plastic polarized lenses as they are in glass. But I think when I get on the rocks and stuff, this will be a little safer for me. So we've just come over Anchorite Pass, and I think it said it was about 7,600 feet, not very high. To get here, we came over Sonora Pass, which is over 9,000 feet. So it looks like we're coming up upon Walker Lake, and that's a good sign, because at Walker Lake, that's where we're going to head due south. And I say we're going to head due south. We're basically, now we're going northwest. We're basically going north for a good bit of this. We're going to have to go east again, I think. We're probably going to be going southeast. Or if we're lucky, maybe we'll go in southwest. Okay, I don't know where we are. Hawthorne, maybe? Did you see a sign for the town?
No.
But there's a McDonald's up there. And where there's a McDonald's is probably a gas station. I've got half a tank. We still got 126 miles. I think I'm going to fill up anyway, just to be on the safe side. Okay, we decided to stop at Mr. Bean's. I don't know if they have it, but hopefully they have some chai. It looks like they've got breakfast burritos and ice cream and a whole bunch of stuff. There's not much in this town. It's like one of those you know, sort of desolate towns that you see in in Hollywood movies. But it looks like it's got a little coffee shop, and it's got a McDonald's, and I'm sure it's got a gas station. I was right, we're in Hawthorne. I was sort of paying attention. Okay, so we hit McDonald's, hit the gas station, and we're leaving Hawthorne. Hawthorne's a cool little town, you know, sort of in this little valley surrounded by mountains. Nice little place. Coffee shop had pretty decent chai, so I think we're good to go until we can hit Mammoth. Okay, it looks like we're entering Luning. Another ghost town, for lack of a better term. There was an old mine along the road and some equipment. I don't know, my guess would be a silver mine. I think that's what, you know, maybe silver or copper. There's a rest stop here, but I didn't see any gas. So someplace for you to picnic and stuff, but I think that's about it. Okay, so we've just made the turn off to 360 South towards Bishop. Now apparently this way will take us back behind the Owens River, and you know, basically drop us on 395 just below the airport. It's been a pretty nice drive so far, you know, mostly high desert, scrub, that kind of stuff. Okay, so we're officially cutting west back towards 395. Looks like Bishop is 52 miles, and Google's saying we've got another hour and 10 minutes. Okay, we've just gone over Montgomery Pass at about 7,000 feet, and we're starting to descend. I don't know, I guess we're going to descend into Long Valley. That'd be my guess. And this is called the Grand Army of the Republic Highway. So I'm completely lost right now because I've not had a chance to really look at the map and get an idea of where we are, but I've got to imagine that in front of me are the Sierra, and maybe to my left here, that might be the White Mountains. And we're passing a chain area right now, which makes me think that we've got another mountain pass to go over. Okay, so officially back in California. And yeah, it looks like we got a little climbing to do. Well, that's kind of cool. You know, a lot of these, I shouldn't say a lot of these, some of these areas here in the Eastern Sierra have wild horses, and these may be some of them. And I don't see any fence line or anything, so and I didn't see any markings on the horses, so yeah, I would expect to see them. There's an area actually up near Tioga Pass that's called Horse Meadow, and you can oftentimes see them there. Coming up to the inspection area, which is pretty common around here. So that was pretty quick. We've got California plates, so he just waved us right through. But there's a ton of horses out here. Okay, so we're coming through Benton, and we are now officially back on 120. So after 6 hours and a night in the cabin, we're back on 120, headed towards Yosemite. Google says we're 50 minutes from the ranch. Okay, we're starting to go up just as I suspected. We're going to make a left at Benton Crossing Road. That'll put us at the old church on 395, right at Convict Creek. Yeah, those are the White Mountains there. I recognize them now that I'm looking at them from this perspective. bit like the Alabama hills out here. So it looks like we might be coming on the back side of Crowley. Maybe. I guess that would make sense. Yep, I guess we're at Lake Crowley. Okay, so we're essentially back on familiar roads, quickly approaching 395, only about 10 minutes from the ranch now. Okay, we're coming up to 395, that's Convict Creek over there. And here is the church right here. So we take a right here, and we're only minutes away. Okay, it's about 11:30, and we left the cabin at 6. We are now at the ranch, and I'm just going to go down and check the board and see what the story is in terms of fishing today. I don't think I'm going to fish the ranch today. I'm going to meet up with Roger someplace else. Barbless nymphs okay today. Okay, I didn't see anybody in the office, so I guess that means I'm going to the trout fitter for fluorocarbon tippet. I picked up some tippet at a Bass Pro Shop yesterday. They had 4.5x tippet, which I've never seen before. They had one spool of that. They didn't have any 4x, so I'm gonna go into town, pick up some 4x. Okay, I've come out to some random day use area looking for Logan and Roger. I see somebody down there. Don't know if that's them. I see their cars here, so I'm in the right place. So I guess I'll put my waders on and head upstream and see if I can find them. It looks pretty brushy here, so I guess waders are going to be the way to go. I need to fix my Crocs. I busted them last week, so before I do anything, I got to do that. So here's my Crocs from last week, and gonna have to do the same sort of fix. Pull the cord out of the survivor cord, and then just tie it in there. That should be good enough. Now, I brought my honey badger with me, but since I'm just parking and maybe walking 50 feet to the stream from my car, I'm gonna pull out my Tier 1 Mini and strap that on. That should be more than enough. Pull all that out. Don't need that. And what did I do before? Just a simple square knot, I guess should do. That should be fine. Cut that there. There. Might be time for some. There we go. That should be good enough. Got some old sandwich bags in my pack. So I'll put the garbage in here. You know, some of this stuff is still pretty good, but I'm not going to use it. Maybe the jute, I'll use the jute, so I'll put that in this bag. But the mono and all the rest of this, I'll never use it. So that is going to go in the trash. Same with the snare wire. You know, it's a shame to waste good materials like this, but it is what it is. Okay, so it's kind of funny. I've got my 8-foot rod with me. I do have a shorter rod, but I thought we were going to be fishing someplace else, so I didn't bring it. It's back at the cabin. So I'm going to grab my fishing gear and then just head down there. Pretty sure I've got a 7.5-foot 4X leader on from last week, so I should be good. I'm not going to tie anything on. I'm just going to go down to the stream and try to find these guys, and then once I find them, then I'll just sort of hang out and start fishing. So like I said, I've never been here before. I did see somebody fishing right down here, so I think I'll mosey my way through this brush, and I doubt it's them, but with any luck there's a fisherman's trail here, and I can go right upstream. So do I have an impossible task? I guess we'll find out. Okay, there are 4 people down here, 2 women and 2 men, I think. Definitely not them. It's a pretty little stream. Never come up this way. Now I have a 50-50 shot of finding them, right? They could have gone downstream from the cars, they could have gone upstream from the cars. I talked to somebody at the cars that said he had been fishing downstream and he hadn't seen them, so hope I'm going the right way. And I didn't see a note on Roger's car. You know what, maybe I should have checked Logan's car. I didn't check Logan's car, so oh well. I changed shirts into a little bit heavier shirt because it was breezy and I was a little cold, but I think I might regret that. That looks almost too good to pass up, but I'm not seeing any fish, and I've only been walking for 5 minutes, so. It looks like there are turnouts though all along this stream. I've not mentioned the stream because it's Logan and Roger's place, and so I don't want to necessarily give it away. It is fairly crowded though. Looks like good water. Now it's entirely possible that they went downstream hoping that there were big fish coming up from the lake. That's something I'll need to consider, so I'll walk up for another 10 minutes. If I don't see them, I guess maybe I'll turn around and go the other way. Okay, so I'm starting to get hot. I've been walking for about 15 minutes and I'm not so sure they came this way. Reason being is I don't see them parking their car and hiking upstream if these turnouts are so close, right? They're really close to the stream. So, I mean, you could park your car, fish one area, get in your car, fish another area, and then keep going. So I think maybe it's more likely they went down to the lake, to the inlet of the lake, and then we're gonna work their way upstream. So I'm getting hot, so I'm just gonna put a line in here, try to cool down a little bit, and then I'm gonna head back. Okay, this looks like a pretty decent run. I'm just gonna come in here, throw some casts down there, try to get it under that tree and behind that log, and then I'll come up over here. You know, as I said, this is right next to the road, so it's probably heavily hit, but who knows? I don't think there's going to be much stealth going on here. As soon as I step out into the sun, it'll be like a huge beacon, but I don't see any fish. Maybe I'll just throw a couple just to make sure. Okay. Okay, I made about a half dozen casts down there. I'm gonna come up in here and do the same. I've got on the Gold Ribs Hare's Ear and, well, the soft tackle, size 12 soft tackle Gold Ribs Hare's Ear, and a size 18 standard Gold Ribs Hare's Ear, which are my standard Sierra small stream go-to flies. I am sufficiently cooled off. I think I'm gonna go downstream. I mean, they parked the cars together, but they could have just left one car and headed upstream if that's what they were going to do. As these pullouts, I mean, the road is right up there. So I think maybe I went the wrong way. Okay, since I'm heading back downstream, I might as well check out some of these spots, see if I can see fish. If I can see fish, I'll fish for them. Well, that looks like really good prospecting water, but didn't see any fish, so we're gonna head downstream. So I'm walking past the cars, and it looks like Roger's trunk is up. So let me go up there and see. Yeah, it is certainly up. So now we've come down to an even harder place to fish. So we'll see how this goes. Now the water here tends to be clear and a bit shallow, so it's a good place to fish dries. And the fish do tend to be a bit spooky, so it is a bit challenging, but it's a fun place if you can get into some fish. Now there's fish all in here. I'm walking downstream, trying to stay as far away from the bank as I can, and then I'm gonna work my way upstream, hopefully not spooking any fish as I'm going down. Okay, I've come to a bend in the river, and angle of the sun is kind of bad for seeing fish, except for what's like real up close next to me. And I don't want to cast in here unless I see fish. So just going to keep walking the bank, and I'm going to go walk up a little bit, and then if I don't see any, I'm going to walk farther down. So I made a few prospecting casts, but I really don't want to do that because these fish are spooky, spooky, spooky. I mean, they're spooky when I'm walking the bank like this. They're spooky for false casting. You know, I mean, they're really the best time to come here is when they're actively feeding and you can see rises. There's no rises right now. I can barely see. I can see maybe 3 feet off the bank on either side, but dead center is kind of a dead zone to me right now. And I just don't, you know, I threw some prospecting casts, but I don't want to fish this stream that way. I don't have confidence that that's going to work well here. So, doing my best to present this dry between those rocks over there, a little bit breezy. That's not as far as I wanted it. So what I'm hoping for there is that there's a fish in front of that rock, in between that rock and the one submerged, and then in front of the pressure cushion in the rock behind it. I'm also betting that they're not spooked by me. I made a couple casts from a kneeling position, more than a couple. Shouldn't have moved it. No. Okay, let's try one more cast, see if I can get a decent cast in there. Cast out, bend upstream, boom. It's dragging a little bit, but slowed down right there. That was good.
And now it's beating up again. So as I said, this is a tough place to fish. Roger was saying when he was here last time, there was a guy that was here that was casting downstream, and you know, that's a plausible way to fish here, you know, because you're not lining the fish, you're not spooking the fish beforehand, and if they're actively feeding, you know, then you get a good shot at them. He was, last time Roger was here, he had to get in the water and wade to catch fish, which again makes sense because you're lowering your profile, all that sort of good stuff. When I was here last time, I had to kneel on the bank. So I'll try to do the same thing. I'll try to get to the fish before the fish see us. And frankly, you know, unless I see fish or unless I can fish to structure like those 3 rocks there, I'm just going to keep moseying up and downstream. Pretty sure there's a fish in front of that pressure cushion on that rock. I've switched back to a nymph because nothing's rising and it's a bit windy. I don't know if I can get a decent cast in there though. Let's give it a... Oh! Pretty sure I just spooked something. Pretty sure I saw a flash as soon as my nymph went into the water. Just out of the corner of my eye. All the more reason to use a dry fly. Okay, that's where I saw the fish. I don't see it there anymore though. Oh, there we go. Whoa. Oh. Oh. That was a strong fish. Wow. Okay, so that was on the size 18 hairs here, and yeah, I don't know what to say. Try to get him on the reel and try to get away from that branch that was sticking out of the water, and he just tore off downstream. I think it was on 4X tippet as well. It was a size 18 hairs here. Okay, I'm starting to see fish. At first I saw fish on the other side of this bush and I was going to fish to them, and then when I stopped, now I'm seeing fish right here. So I'm going to go down to this rock and I'm going to try to work my way up, and we'll see if I can get into some fish. First thing I need to do is tie on another fly. Okay, so we'll see what I can do here. There's some fish in there that have been rising. I think they're smaller, and then there's those fish up there that I saw. So let's see if I can get in here and get some casts in without spooking anybody. Yeah, they're right there. Without stepping on a rattlesnake too. Okay. Now they're going for dries, so the plop plop of this might spook them. Yeah, that was a little heavy. Yeah, don't think. Nope. Okay, so next time I think I'm going to wait for the wind to come up actually before I cast. I know that sounds counterintuitive, but since these fish are really spooky, the wind will somewhat hide the splash. There's the fish. I'll try to stay high this time. right. Not interested. Not interested. Not interested. Okay. Go farther upstream. Oh, spooked it. Oh, there's another one that came in. And he spooked too. Okay, I've come down pretty far. Oh, there's a fish. And probably should put the dry fly on. Or dry dropper. I think I'm going to put on a dry dropper. I don't know, he's right there. Right in the middle of that pool. So, as I've been putting on my dry dropper, another fish has come up. And he's right across from me, and I'm a little worried he's going to act as a sentinel fish and push that one off. They're now together. They're in the same lie together now, and he's sort of pushing them upstream and getting them, and he's sort of taking that fish off its game. Here goes nothing. It's going to be first cast or nothing. Okay, nothing. Not even a look. So I guess I'm going back to the nymph. The one fish is still in there pretty consistently. The other fish is kind of scatterbrained. Okay, no guts, no glory, as they say. There's two fish in there. I'm gonna get up a little bit closer than I did. I hope I didn't spook him with that splash. I can't see him anymore. I can't see him. Shoot. And with that, I think I put them down. Let's see if I can get closer. Get a better angle. Nope, still there. Yeah, still there. Spook the other one. Nope, he's still there too. It's a little bit smaller. Oh, now I'm spooking them. Jeez, why can't I catch these fish? What are they feeding on? Where's the other one? He went to the tail out and he's gone. Definitely not interested. So I eventually put those fish down. There are some small micro caddis coming off, so I've switched to a small caddis dropper. I've not been paying too much attention to my surroundings, and looks like got some weather coming in. I'm gonna start heading back to the car, and you know, just keep an eye on the stream as I'm going up. Okay, well, I'm starting to feel a few sprinkles, and I am down here without my rain gear. I left my rain gear in the car, so I'm gonna mosey on back to the car, and if I see a fish, I'll give it a go. I really would have liked to have fished this section harder, but I don't want to get rained on. So I think we're calling it for today, at least this part of day one. Who knows? I've got to go to the trout fitter, and then we're gonna meet for dinner at the local Friole. So if it's still light out when we're done with dinner, then you know, we might fish someplace else for a little bit. But if not, if you've watched to this point, thank you for that. I know all that road travel is kind of boring and people tend to switch off, but I thought it might be interesting for folks that have never been that way to see what it's like when you have to detour 3 hours around 395. So I hope you enjoyed it, and thank you for coming along.
The hills are calling, where the lakes are my home. Leave the stress behind, find peace in my mind. With the still water flowing, lines I'm throwing. Loneliness is not here, there is life everywhere.
So we're fresh out of the local Friole, which is now Lopez Mexican food, and this is the first time I've ever come out of there disappointed. I got my order wrong. I asked for the plato and I got tacos instead. Also, I was supposed to get some agua fresca, and I think I got some agua fresca with some tequila in it. Either that or I'm really tired.